trying to get wins, and then they all came last year when they got the Brit and the Wi-Fi. And so now they have that feeling of having been crowned, they have something to defend rather than something to aspire to.
I will start you like this.
Visitors Challenge Cup then on the Berkshire side, Upper Thames Rowing Club, and in blue on Bucks, Newcastle University.
Attention! Go!
And a clean getaway on either station. Vigorous physical effort to establish an early pace before settling down into a manageable tempo. And Newcastle again jutting quite markedly from right to left on your screen, from Bucks to Berks, and the oars, the blades, aren't actually too far apart for a worrying moment there.
Interestingly, the umpire chose to get Upper Thames back onto their station, although Newcastle University were clearly pushing them, and now they get the call, get back on station. As I've mentioned before, the start is limited by your strength, but then you have this tendency to tear the water and not move the boat, and the combination of the two might be more effective on one side of the boat rather than the other. So it's very hard to keep rowing boats rather than sculling boats going straight under maximum pressure. But this looks good. Newcastle University with an early advantage.
Insofar as we can derive anything from the times achieved yesterday, Upper Thames have the form. They beat Carnegie Lake USA by 3.5 lengths in a time of 6:56. Newcastle beat a composite Quinton Molesey boat by 2 lengths in a time of 7 minutes 13, but you can't stress too often that those times, of course, are often affected by the nature of the race and don't always indicate precisely the capacity of each crew.
Were they on the same day? Those times were taken on the same day?
Yes.
That is a big difference.
Yesterday's times.
Yes. Because 20-odd seconds, I mean, in any sort of race, that's extraordinary. Particularly as the easier winner, the 3.5 lengthers, were the faster crew. But there you go. Oh, look at that. Isn't that amazing?
And it's beautiful. You can just see the drone there. Did you see it?
Yeah, we both spotted it. Almost smashed the screen in front of us. There's the drone. Absolutely fantastic.
Well, it's a fantastic bit of kit, and I have to say to you, at this grand, ancient sporting event, that is cutting edge. You haven't seen that at a football match yet, or a rugby international, but you've seen it at Henley Royal Regatta. I
think we have to see the tip of the cap to Sir Stephen and his colleagues there for bringing this event on and opening it up to such a massive number of viewers. I know that there was one of the competitors who was looking forward to rowing in front of 100,000 people. I don't know if he was expecting 100,000 people on the bank, but in fact he might have been actually watched by millions. There we have it. Okay, there you can see the drone.
It is remarkable. I wouldn't have the first clue how that works. I still don't understand how the television gets into my house, but that's another issue altogether. It is extraordinary technology, and here are some first-class oarsmen being watched by it, and Newcastle University have established for themselves, perhaps contrary to some expectation, I wouldn't want to be presumptuous, but in the eyes of some it might be considered a minor upset that they've pulled a little way clear of Upper Thames here.
Absolutely, yes, they're coming to about the halfway point here, going past the red grade bar. Of course, we've just been talking about drones and things like that. Rowing is not high-tech. In fact, I attended a presentation about what's made the boat go faster in the last 20 years. And not much of it is to do with physiology, a little bit's to do with boats. It's really quite strange where extra speed has come from. But it is basically a question of trying to grip the water and wait for the boat to pass the spoon, and do that as many times as you can in a minute to make sure that you get to the finish line before your opposition. And that's something that Newcastle University are clearly doing much better than Upper Thames, which is disappointing for the local crew.
So let me throw it at you, John. Sorry if this is unfair at such short notice, but what would you say, again, as an observer of rowing, what would you say would make this Newcastle 4 identifiable? What is it that they're doing that is them?
I think they're probably finding the water a little bit before they move off when they slide forwards. You'll see that the Newcastle crew are actually in the water before they leave the front end of their slide, whereas if you look at Upper Thames, they're slipping a little bit, they're missing the water a little bit shorter, which is just stalling the boat. So each stroke they have to pick up the boat from where it's gone down to back where it was anyway. So it's more efficient. This is more efficient.
Newcastle with Ollie Knight in the bow, Tim Clark at 2, Tom Ford at 3, and the stroke James Rudkin steering. Steering not really an issue now because the water is all theirs, at least for the time being.
I'm sure they're managing this now. They'll just get a sensible and safe distance away from those booms and keep the boat vaguely in line. Was the bow turning around there? Yes, well, you know, he just wants to see how far away the finish line is, probably. They certainly don't want to mess this around. They're still going under full pressure. I just don't think they're doing the rate that they need to do. They're focused in there. They're breathing singly. They're not double breathing, so this is good rowing. They're doing very well. Good connection, nice straight arms.
Newcastle University have won at Henley twice since Angelo Savarino, the Italian, arrived as their head coach in 2005, both times in the Prince Albert Cup, last year included. And it looks for all the world as though these 4 guys in the Visitors Challenge Cup are going to have a place in the last 4.
I must say, I can't quite understand why the Newcastle University bow steers guy, Knight, is turning around. He knows where he's going. He knows where he's on the river. He should know from the markers how far he's got to go. So I don't know if he's looking for his parents, but it's something he can afford to do. He has that luxury. And they're coming to the final phases of this race very superior.
And if you were with us immediately post-lunch, you would have seen the race between Harvard B and University of California, Berkeley, USA, which the California lads won, and they will provide the opposition in the semi-final for Newcastle. Again, it's a tough ask of you, John, but having seen that first post-race lunch and this race here, just give us 10 seconds preview of the semi-final.
Well, the Newcastle are going to have a fast start, but I think they might be held by the Berkeley boys, and everything is going to be pushed right through. It's going to be a real attrition for those 2 crews. That should be a really exciting race later.
It will be a great race, and this has been a good race, particularly from the perspective of those watching it on the banks of the Tyne, because their local lads have done good. Newcastle University in the Visitors Challenge Cup at the expense of Upper Thames. The local crew are through to the semi-final and will participate in the Royal Regatta's big weekend.